Give me that coffee so I don't kill myself. Drink it all up. Never have water. Avengers Infinity War is really good. I still can't believe they pulled it off, and I am blown away by this movie. Big surprise. Jake loves a Marvel movie thing. Yeah. But there's so much to talk about, and I can't do that without going into spoilers. So I'll say off the bat, if you're still here, you should go see it. Try and go in as blind as possible, because some of the surprises and just all of that stuff makes it that much more worth it. That experience in the theater is worth it, I would say. But I guess I just gotta go right into it, dude. I can't believe they did this, like, with the whole space stuff. In the trailers and stuff, I wasn't really sure if they were actually going to space, but there are scenes with literally Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, and Iron Man, and the Guardians of the Galaxy fighting Thanos on Titan in space. I can't believe that. I think that is so awesome that, number one, it managed to actually be cool and interesting on film, but number two, the fact that it exposes mainstream audiences or all the people that watch these movies that don't necessarily read comic books, it's given us a believable taste of cosmic space bullshit, basically. Just like all the craziness, all the wacky stuff that happens in comics. Like, yes, Guardians of the Galaxy was one thing, but to take our characters that were grounded on Earth and put them into space and do all this weird shit is great, because now these Marvel movies are unleashed. Now they can literally do anything comic booky. They can go as far as they really want, and I'm so excited to see that. I think that's like one of my favorite things about this movie. There was the point where they all got together and teamed up and were fighting Thanos, where Spidey is flinging around and webbing him up, and the Guardians of the Galaxy are there, and Iron Man's blasting him, and Doctor Strange is doing his thing, and they're in space, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. I cannot believe I'm watching this. That was one of my favorite scenes in the movie. That and the introductory scene where it just opens right up into a fight in New York. I love that just because it worked so well. It erupted right into it. It was confident. It knew what the fuck the deal was. It immediately addresses two of my issues with Spider-Man. It shows he has spider sense very well, and then it shows him swinging across the bridge like a real Spider-Man, swinging into the city, and that made me so happy. I'm just a sucker for that. It always just kind of puts a chill in my heart, but the movie did it a little bit. It gave me that little bit, especially when they were fighting in Washington Square Park, flinging around. Iron Man's there. It just all worked. And something about Doctor Strange in this movie, I don't know what the Russo brothers did directing it. Like, they just give Doctor Strange, like, now that he's Sorcerer Supreme, every time he does something and he talks while he prepares his spells, and he like fucking readies up to fight. Oh, it's so awesome. I love Doctor Strange. I love him so much. I was like okay with the comics. The few compilations I read with him were cool, but like this movie version, I love him. I love it so much. I love what he does to the MCU. Like, I love what he brings, and Benedict Cumberbatch is awesome. Not only that too, a lot of times this movie felt like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in a way. We had a lot of really good moments, specifically between Star-Lord and Gamora, which I absolutely loved, when the stakes were really high and they told each other they loved each other. That was good payoff. That was really good payoff, and it also made Thanos look extra fucked up, which I really liked. I'll get to him in a second. And they also mentioned, like, it happened off screen that Thanos just blew up Xandar, just like that. So the Nova Corps are gone. So if you think about it, the last in a Nova Corps, Richie Rider, could be Nova. That's a thing. They're setting that up. Please, hello. Okay, sorry. Back down to earth. I think I'm kind of just diarrheaing out of the mouth all the things I loved about the movie. That's all this video is going to be. Sorry if you got this far. But switching gears from that just for a minute, one of the things I wasn't satisfied with, Captain America here. Captain America, one of my favorite heroes of all time. Very well done for the most part in the MCU. Here, it felt like they didn't know what to do with him. He didn't have much. He never really got much of a Cap moment. He got his reveal, which was cool. They played the music, they show his silhouette, you're like, that's Cap. I mean, technically now he's just Steve Rogers. I like that the movie acknowledged that Tony and Cap still haven't spoken to each other. That's interesting, because that's going to just probably be more taken care of in the next movie. But he didn't really have much to do, really. Does that make sense? I did like they gave him a line at one point where he was like, I don't give a fuck anymore. He didn't say that. Obviously, he wouldn't say that. He basically said, like, he's done waiting for permission. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. That's a very interesting different Captain America, who is not actually really Captain America anymore. But as Cap, as who he is, or whether or not he's a leader now, like, they just didn't really have much of him here. But I think I think the Red Skull reveal made up for it. I actually said out loud in the theater, that was one of my moments where, like, I'm generally quiet in a theater, except for that one time someone told me to be quiet because I was crying too much during Star Wars. But sorry, people around me, but I couldn't help it. I was like, oh, fuck, as soon as they showed him. Well, because first, the way they did it, I was like, oh, is this death? Are they doing the Thanos thing from the comic? No. Then all of a sudden it revealed himself. It was Skeletor. It was Red Skull, and it is Red Skull. How I like Red Skull. It's like after he's the Nazi, like after he does all the Nazi thing, he becomes much more than that. And this is their way of doing that, and I love it. It's not Hugo Weaving anymore. Actually, he's being portrayed by a Walking Dead actor, but still, we get the Red Skull look. We get Red Skull, and we get next level Red Skull. Which I was sitting with Andrew a few weeks ago. We were talking about it, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be great if they brought back Red Skull, because there's so much more he can do. Red Skull pops up so much in the comics, and there's Red Skull in the suit and tie, who's almost more dangerous than Red Skull the Nazi, and I love it. I'm so happy. I don't know if it's going to mean much, if it was just a one-off thing, like he's just stuck in space. I think that's so fucking cool. Oh my god, I can't stop. Whether or not he's actually going to come back or not, I don't know. I don't care. But that payoff was good. To bring back a character that we haven't seen in years and years, and honestly forgot about. I knew, like, when he got zapped away by the Tesseract, you knew he was teleported to some far-off place. He wasn't just dead and gone. But I never thought they would actually show that and bring him back, and I'm so happy. Also, a lot of focus on Thor. It really sucks that Asgard is mostly gone, and also I hate that they retconned his eye. I liked him having the eye patch. I thought that was cool. That was like a unique spin on the Thor character. But they spent a lot of time on him here as what I've been calling real Thor. Since Thor Ragnarok and now with Infinity War, you get that Thor that comes flying down, his eyes, lightning bolts are coming out of his eyes and everywhere, and he's just really the god of thunder. Like, I feel like they finally really figured out Thor, and they're confident, and I like it so much. So I love that. I like seeing Stormbreaker. I think that was cool. The way they made it was very different with a giant Peter Dinklage. I'm all about that for some reason. And it's indicative of just the rest of the movie. It does a lot of cool, interesting things. It takes characters that you wouldn't expect to see together and pairs them up, and it's mostly excellent. You have Thor and Rocket Raccoon go on a random space adventure. Then you have them all meet up and fight together, and you see Cap fighting with Groot, and you see Bucky fighting with Rocket Raccoon. That was an excellent moment. And to be honest, the whole Wakanda battle, as much as it's another like Avengers movie where they're fighting off hordes of CGI creatures, the fact that these things were like wild, ferocious animals, it actually felt oppressive. It felt like a losing fight, and that was great. The losing fight thing, honestly, Thanos, that big purple Homer Simpson, love that dude. This is a Thanos movie. This is a Thanos movie in the Avengers world. The Avengers are really almost side characters to Thanos, and I think that's excellent, because I think they thought about it and they're like, we can't win. Like, how are we going to set up a villain this important in one movie and make people care about him? Well, they have to make the focus on him. Thanos got a lot of screen time, and I think it really fucking worked. I like this Thanos better than comic book Thanos. His convictions are believable. He's more scary because he's really fighting for what he believes in and what he thinks is right. And Josh Brolin played him really, really well. It was all convincing. Every moment was absolutely great. With him and with the Infinity Gauntlet, that's where it gets tricky, because everybody said there's so many things. If he had the Infinity Gauntlet, why didn't he just wish for unlimited food and resources to save the galaxy? I don't care. It's a movie. I don't care. I like to turn my brain off. To some people, you might hear that's not enough. To me, I don't care. Now, I think where it does really get tricky, though, is them killing off characters at the end. Thanos was victorious. That's great. I love that this is part one of a movie. This is so fucking Empire Strikes Back, or the end of the Fellowship of the Ring, or even the Two Towers, I guess, where things are dire. What's going to happen next? Now we all just got to wait and freak out about it. And freak out people definitely will. The reactions in the theater, as much as I like going to quiet theaters, the reactions here were fantastic, especially for the deaths. I pretty much expected a lot of this going in, but for like the 10-year-old going in, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. But it also goes into the interesting conundrum that comic books often have, where they kill off a character and you know they're not going to be killed off for real, so you find it harder to care. The moments can be incredibly well written, well done, and yet you know they're going to come back eventually, so it doesn't matter. And here we have our first example of that problem in this movie, where the time stone exists. You know that a lot of these characters are going to get brought back to life in the next movie. You know that the next movie is going to be the Avengers figuring out how to reverse things. So the deaths are a little less impactful, I guess. I still think they were well done, but it's Spider-Man's. Spider-Man's got me because they did it perfectly. They made him a pathetic, frightened little kid who knew in about 5 seconds he was about to die. That one cut me deep. That was the only one where I was like, oh no. And talking about Spider-Man, in my previous videos I had talked shit about the Iron Spider suit. I just don't like the way it looks. But in this movie, in context, the fact that it's a cosmic suit, I love it. It makes perfect sense. I'm totally into it. I also do think it's a little interesting, like, even though these characters are going to be brought back, like the fact that they might have less involvement in the next movie. People like Black Panther, who is huge right now, the fact that he vaporized, I'm curious to see what they do. But I don't have a lot of problems with this movie. Like, yes, it doesn't have time to focus on a lot of characters. Yeah, T'Challa himself basically just shows up and says, hey, everybody, let's fight. They don't have time for everyone, but I think the moments that they did make were incredibly effective, and I enjoyed all of it. I don't even really have enough time to talk about everything. I'm probably keeping you guys way too late. After the credit scene, too, with Captain Marvel, that was a great reveal. It's nice to just see, honestly, more than Captain Marvel, I was just excited to see Maria Hill and Nick Fury again. S.H.I.E.L.D. in general and Nick Fury is some of my favorite stuff from the Marvel comics, so I'm happy that's kind of making a comeback. That's excellent. Also, I like the way the movie ended after all the actor credits passed, and then it just said Avengers Infinity War, and you hear the echo of the original Avengers theme. That's like the first time you actually hear it throughout the entire movie, and then the logo disappears. Awesome. I'm satisfied. As a Marvel fan, as a Marvel movie fan, as a comic book fan, as a whatever fan, I'm satisfied. I think the buildup was worth it. Everything that these movies have been working towards now, I'm happy they pulled it off. I loved it. I had a great time at the movie theater. And that's what this is all about, right? I've definitely kept you guys for too long. Wow. Let me go. Thank you for listening to me ramble about this stuff. Thank you for sticking around. I do want to know what you guys think about this movie. The comments are probably going to be a shit show spoiler zone, so just go for it, I guess. Let's talk about this. I want to know what you think about it. What was your favorite moment, your favorite interactions between characters? Like I said, I think one of mine is Bucky and Rocket Raccoon, but there's so many to list, so I want to hear from you guys. Thank you guys for sticking around for me for this journey. Literally, one of my first YouTube videos was me talking about the first Captain America movie, and now we're here. That's bizarre. That's weird. So thank you. As always, I'm Jake Baldino. Thanks for watching. You can subscribe because video games.